This video was taken from a webinar called The Automation Paradox, which explains why businesses automate 20% less of their tests than they expect to every year. If you want to watch that, there should be a link somewhere below this video. John Smerek is the CTO of LineTen, a hospitality fulfillment startup which helps you manage orders from different places. John is a joint customer of Global App Testing and TestRail, who co-ran the webinar with us. Now, over to John.
Thanks, Artem. I'm a little bit challenged with internet connectivity, so if I actually put my video off once in a while, that's where that's coming from. So excuse me for that. I'm at Spaces and it's not a very good connection today. But I've just launched, just to add what Artem said, I've just launched, my team has just launched basically a global app testing of over 150 test cases for a major enterprise that wants to actually validate UAT that we're actually trying to launch this quarter. So it actually is a very powerful technique. So we're just in the process of that, and I was scrambling to make this webinar at the same time. So I thought that was very appropriate. We've had some challenges, right, at LineTen here. Our first major challenge was LineTen was faced with a perfect storm in terms of testing. We literally had 6 different products in various stages, all coming together in a common completion date. All different customers. Some had multiple versions of the same application, but the volume of work, especially the testing, exceeded our current capacity. And so that's when I looked around and identified crowd testing as one of those key things that we need to do. We couldn't automate it. We didn't have enough time. We didn't have enough testers. So there was an immediate need to ramp up testing to keep pace with development. And GET allowed LineTen to test in volume as development was completed. It also enabled us to actually do all the testing after hours overnight, right, which was key because we'd hit the ground running at 8, 9 a.m. in the morning of all the defects, if there were any, with very, very detailed videos of what those defects were right in TestRail, which is, I think, is an extremely important part because there's not a lot of going back and forth. Look at the video. Oh, yeah, I see the problem. I fixed it. So it was a huge boon for us, right? So that was our first challenge. It was the all the perfect storm of testing. Challenge 2, our e-commerce platform. We've got basically two groups of platforms here, e-com and delivery. But on e-com, we need to test across the various platforms, not just in the UK, but right across Europe and Hong Kong and Australia and Canada, right? So the different browsers, language, iOS, Android, we have access to the browsers. I think everybody does, but the different devices that people use with e-com, especially in fast food, is where we're actually targeting. 80 to 90% of all your transactions or store's transactions are on a phone, right? So it's key that those are tested, right? And the different variations of those phones, like the last 3 or 4 variations. So that was a key thing for us. We did not have the budget to actually buy all those different devices. So that was, GAT allowed testing across all the platforms. We just specified in the test runs which ones we actually wanted tested. For each test, they did this exact same thing 2 or 3 times for a test on Android or iOS or the web browser. And we've got all those different results. It was quite interesting results because, one web browser or even on Safari, iOS would act a little bit different, right? So that was a key thing. That was a great challenge for challenge 2. Challenge 3, smoke testing a complex product, right? LineTen has a complex e-commerce platform where the core development may affect multiple independent clients. This is not something you would purposely design in, but I think most companies quickly got into these type of problems when they're startups. They build, they make changes, there's tech debt. And so changing a particular function for one enterprise client may affect another client that had nothing to do with that functionality. Not a great place to be in, but it's reality. So smoke testing, when we actually released for one client, we were able to do 3 or 4 clients at the same time, which was volume again, which is great for us. So that was a great challenge that GAT met. Our next challenge, challenge 4, had limited feedback from customers, right? Usability improvements to the flow, etc. So we actually asked GAT to do a few basically exploratory tests and to give us feedback on what they felt the flow of a particular e-com or delivery platform in this particular case felt like from a customer point of view, right? Largely when you're in product and you do product development, you get this back from your clients and your customers, but you have to have something out there. GAT gave us a really good way of getting a lot of feedback from actual users on different devices and web browsers very, very quickly. I think it's one of those hidden gems that actually GAT brings that you just don't, they just don't probably advertise as much, but it was a great thing for us. And then finally, my last one is challenge 5, right? Lots of products working together. One of our products on the e-commerce side integrates with a aggregation platform that puts together a lot of POS integrations with marketplace integrations like Uber Eats, Deliveroo, with basically a menu program and an order program. It puts it all together and very, very complex, right? So one of the things, one of the challenges we actually had for GAT was like, look, this is very complex. It's a manual process. We have to set up our marketplaces. We have to set up our delivery places. We have to set up our e-com. The tester does this. Our testers would normally do this. We'd have to put the payloads. This is the transaction I want to follow the way through. The challenge to GAT was, can your testers do that? And the result was, yeah, they can, right? A very, very astute crowd. What we did was we videotaped. We set up a little seminar with them. Meeting with them. We videotaped. One of our testers took them through it. We recorded it, and that's pretty much all we had to do. And they were off to the races, and they were able to test. So if anybody says that crowd testing can't do complex testing, yes, they can, right? So that was a huge benefit for us as well. There is one more challenge. I know I only had 5, but there is one more challenge that we do have. Is a lot of our enterprise customers today are actually asking for validated UAT. And that validated UAT is one of these key things. Not every enterprise customer will ask for this, but all enterprise customers do some sort of manual testing. What they want from us is, here's a list of our test scripts, validation that they've been tested, along with the videos that they've been tested. And so that's another added benefit that we're actually kicked off today, like 5 minutes before this meeting started, for one of our enterprise customers. So it's another win with GAT.
That was John Smerek, the CTO of LineTen. If you want to have a conversation about global app testing and our mind-blowing integration with TestRail software, you can scan the QR code that's on screen right now and click the relevant link. Thanks so much.